Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to read the classic Mr. Tickle. And I also got a Mr. Tickle drawing also. I've got so many Mr. Men books that I'm going to show you, so maybe you're going to look at it. So here's Mr. Tickle. Here's the back. You can collect Mr. Cole. You can collect the Little Miss Chatterbox. You can collect Mr. Tall. You can collect Little Miss Helpful. You can do Mr. Funny. You can do Little Miss Sunshine. You can do Mr. Tickle. You can do Mr. Happy. Little Miss Giggles. Mr. Strong. Mr. Brave. Wait, that's Little Miss. I don't know. Is this Little Miss Helpful? I think this is Little Miss Helpful. That's a Little Miss Helpful. I don't know who that is, but it's kind of weird. That's Mr. Bump, and that's Little Miss Princess. This is the book. I got this from my friend. I got this from my friend, but you don't know him, so yeah. Mr. Tickle. I got this at Big W, I think. Yeah. Mr. Tickle. Wait, let me read it for you. Wait. It's facing this way. It was a warm, sunny morning. In his small house in the other side of the wood, Mr. Tickle was asleep. He didn't know that there was such a thing as a tickle, did you? Well, there is. Tickles are small and round, and they have arms that stretch and stretch and stretch. Extraordinarily long arms. Go to the next page, guys. Mr. Tickle was fast asleep, and he was having a dream. It must have been a very funny dream, because it made him laugh out loud, and that woke him up. He sat up in bed, stretching extraordinarily long arms, and yawned. Yawn. Mr. Tickle felt hungry, so you know what he did? He reached out one of his extraordinarily long arms, opened the bedroom door, reached out downstairs, opened the kitchen door, reached into the kitchen cupboard, opened the biscuit tin, took out a biscuit, put it upstairs, through it the bedroom, and door and back to Mr. Tickle in bed. As you can see, it's very useful indeed having arms as long as Mr. Tickle. Dad! Stop! You're snoring.
Oh, sorry.
As you can see...
If I snoring, you can come and push me a little bit.
Yeah. As you can see, it's very useful having indeed arms as long as Mr. Tickle. Mr. Tickle munched his biscuit. He looked out of the window. Today looks very much like tickling day, he said to himself. So later that morning, after Mr. Tickle had his bedroom and cooked breakfast. He set out through the woods. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. As he walked along, he kept his eyes very wide open. He looked for somebody to tickle, looking for anybody to tickle. Eventually, Mr. Tickle came to a school. There was nobody out about, so, oh, no. He reaching up, he extraordinarily long arms to high window ledge. Mr. Tickle pulled himself and peeped in through the window. Oops. Oh. Oh. Inside, he could see a classroom, and there were children sitting at their desks and a teacher writing in the blackboard. Mr. Tickle waited for a minute. Extraordinarily long arm went up to the teacher. Paused, and then tickled. The teacher jumped in the air and turned around very quickly to see who was there. But there was nobody there. Mr. Tickle grinned and mischievous grin. He waited another minute, and then he tickled the teacher again. This time he kept tickling on until soon the teacher was laughing out loud and saying, "Stop it, stop! It's over and it's over again." All the children were laughing too at such a funny sight. There was a terrible pandemonium. Can you guys read that? This one? It's named Pandemonium. Yeah, Pandemonium. Eventually, Mr. Tickle thought he had enough fun, so he gave a teacher one more tickle for luck, and then very quickly brought his arm back through the open window, chuckling himself to jump up and down from the window and leaving the poor teacher to explain what it was all about. But he couldn't, and then Mr. Tickle went to town. day Mr. Tickle had. He tickled the policeman on traffic on duty and the crossroads are in the middle of town. 'Cause enormous traffic jam. He tickled the greengrocer, just peeling apples nearly in his shop window. The greengrocer fell on backwards, and the apples rolled over the shop. At the railway station, the guard was about to wave his flag for the train to leave. As he lifted his arm in the air, Mr. Tickle tickled him. Every time he tried to wave his flag, Mr. Tickle tickled him. Until the train was 10 minutes late, leaving the station, and all the passengers were furious. That day, Mr. Tickle tickled everybody. He tickled the doctor, he tickled the butcher. He tickled old Mr. Stamp, the postman, who dropped letters into a puddle. Then Mr. Tickle went home, sitting on his armchair in his small house. On the other side of the wood, he laughed, and he laughed every time he thought about people having tickled. So, if you are any way ticklish, beware of Mr. Tickle and those extraordinary long arms of his. Just think, perhaps somewhere about at this very moment while you're reading this book, perhaps that extraordinary long arm of his already creeping up to the door of this room. Perhaps it's opening the door now and coming into your room. Perhaps before you know what's happening, you will be truly tickled. This is the last page, guys. Mr. Tickle can never surprise an extraordinary anger to tickle everyone within he reach. The end. Thank you guys for coming to Mr. Tickle. I hope you enjoy my video. Mr. Tickle is coming.